they don't give me. So what?
I hope you're not started yet.
Oh yeah, we're live. Yeah. Awkward silence. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a fishy morning. I officially, literally just rolled into bed because I forgot about this, so I'm going to be even more amazing than I usually am. I hope everyone's had a good fishy week, and I'm going to put it on to these guys to talk about what they've been up to. What have you been up to?
I'm just quickly curious on how you can forget that we do this, and we've been doing it for nearly 2 years now, on the same day at the same time. How do you just randomly forget that?
I forgot what day it was.
Right, that makes sense then.
Yeah, I've had a busy week this week, so yeah, it's all good.
All right, I'll allow it.
Thank you.
I don't know. Excuses don't get results.
Well, you make excuses all the time.
Ryan's also in a bad mood, everyone.
Don't you, Matt?
Just so that everyone's aware, Ryan is in a bad mood.
I'm not in a bad mood. I just can't trust the punter. No wonder he doesn't have a date. You know, he's unreliable. That's why.
Sad.
What have you guys had going on in your fish rooms, or your fish shops, or your fish? Yeah, you've got a fish shop as well. You've got fish in the shop. Anyway, I thought that was.
Are you sure you're not drunk?
It's way too like.
It's possible.
What have I had going on? Let me see. I had 3 Tropheus all spit out some fry, which was cool. I haven't bothered to keep you updated on them anymore because I just don't want you to feel bad.
That is happening so much that you lose track as well, eh?
Yeah. My angelfish, my cool angelfish that I talked about last week, have laid eggs, so they're currently defending those like a trooper. I haven't taken them out yet, but I will probably do that either today or tomorrow. Otherwise, I had a 3-hour battle with my FX6. Decided it was time for its 6-monthly clean, and when I put it all back together, I didn't put it all back together correctly, and it would not run. So I stripped it down again, put it back together the right way, and it still wouldn't run. And so many swearwords later, we finally got there. But it was a mission. I
hate it when that happens. Like sometimes like it's amazing when they're working, and then when they don't work, it's just and you just no reason for it, and you fill it up, and then it doesn't go. Then you got to drain it again, and I mean they're not like crazy heavy, but they're a little bit awkward. You know, like I mean the average person can lift them, but you know.
They're just awkward, and the space that I have behind the tank that it's in is actually quite narrow, so I don't have a whole heap of room to slide in and out. But yeah, I think the thing that really annoyed me the most out of it was that when I did clean it, I didn't actually really need to clean it. It wasn't that dirty at all. So I could have just saved myself 3 hours of time. But that's okay.
But you've done it. It's all right.
I have done it, and I did lift it while it was full. I think it just had too much air in the lines and it wasn't purging.
Oh, yeah.
And I was struggling to get it to actually start siphoning down and filling up.
I've started a separate siphon into the holes before and filled up as much as you
can. See, a smart person would do that.
But I had the same problem when I did mine last time, and because obviously they're self-priming, but you do have to at least sort of third or half full.
Yeah. Other than that, my red top lacomas. So I've got about 40 fry from them. So that's cool. They're swimming around, and yeah, that's about it for me.
Cool. That sounds good.
Are red tops actually red top, or are they a different colour?
No.
Orangey yellow.
It's one of those weird things that someone might have been colourblind when they named them.
Yeah, translation from scientific names, and yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Or drunk. Or just being Ryan.
Or like some fish, they saw like one example that is extremely rare in the hobby, and it actually was red, so they named it after that, and then we don't get that variety. You know. So
Yep.
all sorts of weird shit happens.
That makes sense.
Okay, what about you, Cameron? Have you had anything exciting going on?
I found some starlight bristlenose eggs, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
Unfortunately, they had kicked them out of the cave, or whatever it is you want to call it, which was a bit disappointing. But it's the first time they've spawned, so it's cool to know that there is at least a mature male and a mature female in there. So I'm pretty happy with that. So
I like starlights. I think they're cool.
They're quite cool. They're cool when they're smaller. When they get bigger, they're not quite as cool.
They lose their colour, eh?
Yeah,
we
they
just
did.
pause for a second because Ryan has just acknowledged a form of pleco being cool.
I think the bristlenoses noses are cool too, but that's just me.
Bristlenose or ancestress?
The same thing. Well, not the same thing, but kind of the same thing.
Not really at all.
You're still admitting that they're cool.
Well, I mean, to the average person, an ancestress is a bristlenose, and a bristlenose is an ancestress. But to the average person, we're never going to be able to tell the difference, and we've probably just got mongrels. So, I mean, essentially in New Zealand, it is the same thing. If you buy an ancestress, you get a bristlenose. So,
cool. So similar to like when someone buys an Mbuna, it's the same fish, a different color. Like an African cichlid is an African cichlid, no matter what.
Well, there's no one. As far as I'm aware, there is no one in New Zealand with that is specifically breeding and selling the different types of ancestress, and they're not very easy to tell apart. Is that correct?
There's lots of people breeding and selling different types of ancestress.
What I'm saying.
Eh?
What different species?
Yeah.
Or just bristlenoses?
No, different species.
Okay.
Obviously, you've got the starlights, the medusas, and the Rio Ukayalis are three off the top of my head that I can think of.
Okay. Yeah, those ones are obviously different though. I mean, like a common bristlenose is probably just a mix of all sorts of shit.
Yep. L144 lemon drop, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can get those ones that are just a little bit lighter and someone's given them a trade name to sell them. But anyway, I won't get into that. That annoys me.
You mean like the super reds and the green dragons?
Super reds, pineapples, all sorts of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And yes. They're just famous. Anyway. But yeah, yeah. So you've got starlight babies. I've heard they're really hard to raise the fry. They get to a certain age and die.
No, I don't have starlight babies. The parents kicked the egg out.
The egg.
The eggs.
Singular. No, okay. All right.
Eggs. Yeah. So, they kicked it out. I tried to artificially inseminate, but that was clearly not the word I was after. Artificially hatch.
I hope you didn't try to artificially inseminate your fish. That'd be very not cool.
Yeah, I tried to breed a box it, but it didn't. It got all funky. So now they're floating around everywhere. So that was unsuccessful. But again, I'm happy that there's at least a mature female in there to have produced eggs. So we can work from that.
Yeah, they'll just get better and better and better, won't they?
Pretty much, yeah. So once they start, they'll get into it. So I'm happy with that.
Once they pop, they'll never stop. They're like Pringles.
Yeah. But way better looking.
Yeah. I've had a pretty quiet week this week in the fish room, just kind of maintenance and stuff. I siphoned off some lulupai fry. That was pretty cool. there was heaps and heaps of them. I found them. I found the fry, and then I was going to siphon them, and then the female knew that I'd found them and moved them, so I had to find the fry around the tank because that she'd hidden them in a pipe. So I managed to find them and siphon them out. So that's pretty cool. And now they're just little tiny suckers eating some brine, eating some microworms and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I'm always astounded how small they bloody well are when they come out. Those things, they are freaking tiny little midgies.
Are they?
Yeah. Not like tetrafry, but still small.
Small as far as cichlids go.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm quite prolific. I actually was siphoning them out, going, am I going to be able to find homes for all these lupi? But anyway, that's not the point.
Worry about that after the fact.
Yeah, I still quite like them, so I don't really care if I end up with a tank of them. It's like all my fish. If I end up with heaps of them, I end up with heaps of them. No drama.
Yeah. They're cool fish. Are they the really orange ones or the really yellow ones? Because there's a couple different, I don't know, is it variants or catch points or colours or stuff hanging around the country. Yeah.
Interestingly, they are yellow ones.
Yeah.
But I sold some to a friend and they went orange. So I'm wondering if that is more environmental than anything.
Yeah.
Because
food related or whatever.
He feeds the same food as me.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. Because I went up and saw a Zolupi. I said, where'd you get the orange ones from? He's like, you. I was like, why are they orange? And he's like, no, I don't know. He's like, I like them. And I was like, well, what are you feeding? He said, the same food that I've always fed because you sold me the fish and told me what to feed them. I was like, oh, that's weird. So, yeah. It's interesting.
There's documented stuff saying there is different catch points, to different colours.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. And they call the orange ones, I think, the firecracker ones. I've had them before. They were imported orange. They were really nice. I'd like to get some more, but apparently they go orange, and it must be a pH, KH, GH thing, I'm guessing, or something else. Don't know.
Interesting.
So that's quite cool. What else I had to go on? I went to a fish club meeting on Wednesday night. That was cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The talk was on automatic water changes, which is interesting. Automatic water change system for big tanks. So, and he used a homemade siphon-based Frank Mueller used a homemade siphon-based overflow on the tanks and a drip system going in to automate his water changes on his big tanks. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of siphon-based overflows, especially inside your house, because they can leak. But his one was pretty good design, actually. And it had a little clear tube at the top, so you could, like an inspection tube that you could check every day in case it's getting air in it so it doesn't stop, which I thought was quite a good system. He also did a little bit of a sciencey introduction and talk about father fish and some of the things he agrees with that father fish does and some of the things he does not agree with that father fish does. So that was interesting as well. Obviously, I think father fish goes as far as to say that water changes are dangerous. They're not needed and they're dangerous to fish tanks and stuff. So it was interesting to hear that. And he was saying they're not natural and rah. But again, I don't agree with all that. So yeah. And I, as a funny guy, decided to try and outbid some friends of mine to buy some plants and ended up winning them. So I ended up with bags and bags full of Indian fern and duckweed for about $5 or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I've just gone to the fish room and broadcast this Indian fern around the tanks. I'm actually quite liking putting just random hardy plants in the tanks because I think it has some merit for nitrates and stuff. and a little bit of greenery in there does make them look a little bit nicer. So yeah. Hardy stuff that grows easy seems to work.
Have they started chewing on the Indian fern yet? Have they started chewing on the Indian fern yet?
I've been selective where I put it in the tanks with the fish that don't, all the babies or whatever that don't tend to eat plants, like peacocks and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
The Tropheus plant trial has failed.
Again?
They mowed the Anubias and the Val down to nothing. They mowed the Ambulia and Val down to nothing. And the Anubias is still there, but it just looks like someone's half eaten it. So yeah. He's no good. No good.
Okay.
So I'm just.
So you were half expecting that to happen, though, weren't you?
Disappointed, but expecting it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was our next thing on the agenda? Random question generate? No. The mail. There's been no list of mail.
Yeah. There has been.
Oh, okay. Well,
we got some.
Yeah, there was one from 2 weeks ago.
A real listener or?
Yeah. Update on my random fan too has signed me up this week to OnlyFans. So that's actually good. They only the last laugh because I'm going to make heaps of money on OnlyFans, I reckon. Because look at it.
OnlyFans or OnlyFins?
Yes, fishy stuff goes on, but it's OnlyFans this time. So, and also to be a volunteer for the Maori Party. So they're really doing good things for me, helping me out, getting me out in the community, and helping me generate some money.
We still think we know who it is, right?
Yeah, Tom, definitely.
We're detecting it to Tom, and you're the detective, and so you're our lead investigator.
Yeah. Well, we got Mr. Plot on the job.
Has he responded to the accusation?
Yeah, he keeps trying to throw it onto so young Ken.
Right.
No,
he's too busy for that sort of thing, though.
He put himself into the investigation, and then he pointed fingers at somebody else. So I've watched enough cop shows on TV to reckon that he's guilty.
Yeah,
no trial, just arrest him and put him in the bin.
And he's come into the chat here and said it's Yaxley.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would do too if I was the one involved in it. I'd be blaming other people. So we're looking at you, buddy.
It makes sense to blame one of the idiots as well.
Yeah. It probably stems from him knowing that Ryan hates corridors and other such catfish. And he's just like, I'm going to get vengeance on this forever. In your stupid African cichlid.
Yeah. I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Interested to see how long it goes for, though, because surely they'll run out of ideas.
He's also yet to deny it. He just continues to say other people are doing it.
Yeah,
He's not actually physically said, I haven't done it.
Yeah.
All right,
I also managed to leverage from my fish association last night and ring a fisher in Paikel Tech who buys fish off me to help me fix my fridge.
Did you try turning it on and off again first?
Well, it ended up being a very long turning it off and turning it back on again. So we went through the freezer the other night because it just seems to fill up and we never eat anything out of it. So we went through it and wrote a list of everything that's in there so we can try and eat it. But conveniently, we've already lost the list, so that's great. But anyway, but we left it open for ages and ages while we were doing that, and it was beeping away and stuff, and I think it just iced up. So I ended up having to defrost it all and put everything in a chili bin and put hot water in there and fans and stuff and dry it all out. And now the fridge seems to be cold because the fridge was warm. Everything in the fridge was warm, and it was not good. And I was like, oh, everything's going to go off. This is dumb. But it was quite cool. I think it's awesome to know people in fish. I mean, like, oh no, fish guy is a Sparky. Oh no, fish guy is a plum. No, fish guy is this, and then just ring them and get them to do stuff. So yeah, that's awesome. I traded fish for getting my garage wired up the other day, so that was good. I'm happy with it. Now I have a random question.
Helen's just brought up a wee comment before we go any further. Helen has said, my daughter's educating me. Apparently Ryan should let the dogs out to make money, but I'm not sure how many people would pay to see Ryan's feet.
Everyone.
Everyone?
I'm just going to throw this out there because I've got some paperwork that urgently needs to take attending to. What would be the best and worst part of being a cat, in your opinion?
Best and worst part.
I think the best would be the 9 lives, because I've got a tendency to injure myself. So I think if I could have 9 lives, that would give me a little bit more assurance of being okay. The worst part, hairballs.
Yeah, hairballs would suck. Can confirm they suck. Best part, I think, can confirm, I can believe that sleeping all day and eating all day would probably fit my mindset quite nicely. I'm down for that. And the worst part of being a cat. The worst part of being a cat. I don't know, maybe being a cat, because cats are dumb.
My experience with cats is most of them are assholes.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah, they're not great New Zealanders. We'll put it that way.
No.
Yeah.
Has he just put himself on mute and pissed off?
Yeah, I think he's off to take a dump. Would be my thoughts.
Urgent paperwork.
Yeah. Should we get on with our list of mail then? Because I've got it here.
Yes.
Okay. This is from Laura Morrison from the 1st of August. So apologies for not getting to you last week. I thought we had done this one, but clearly hadn't. Hi guys, really enjoying the pod so far. Well, that makes one of us. But only very recently found it, as I usually listen to Apple Pod. So first, I think you should publish over there also. Just so you know, Laura, we're now on Apple Pod and everybody else. I believe we connected the Apple Pods thing about a week or so ago after this email, so you're welcome. Secondly, I'm very newly getting into African cichlids. So I've listened to your past episodes.
Oh, yeah.
I like her already.
Let's get her on. Let's get her on the show. Anyway,
you feel better now?
What is the best thing? The best thing about being a cat, I reckon, is it's socially acceptable and expected to be a C word, because everyone expects that from a cat, right?
To be a cat,
so,
yeah.
No, I can't. Everyone thinks you're going to be a CUNT because you're a cat. So,
and this one can't be published.
That'll be the best thing about being a cat, I reckon. And
you are drunk, aren't you? You're drunk.
The worst thing about being a cat would be little children, I reckon, because little children pull their hair, pull their tail, and chase them around and stuff, and that's just dumb,
So one we can't publish this podcast anymore because you've just.
I know we still will.
The worst word. No word. 2. You're kind of emulating. So when a dog or cat goes for a dump and then they get the zoomies afterwards, that's you coming back in right now. You've gone and had your dump. You're coming back and you've just got the zoomies, and you've just come in and fucked everything up.
Are you going to be able to drive to work today? I reckon you are still hammered, or you've got hammered this morning, which is why you rolled out of bed late.
The client did give me a couple of bottles of wine yesterday, so that was good. But anyway,
Helen's a great comment.
Yeah, I was going to avoid that one. I wanted to say it, but I thought no, better not.
The problem with that is owners usually take them away from them, so that's also a bad thing. Anyway,
can we
carry on with the mail? I was already liking that mail because they want to get into African cichlids, so they're
well. You just wait, because there's more to it.
Okay.
So I've listened. We've done maybe some more information on things that maybe seem common knowledge, behaviors on more specific varieties. Who can go in with who? Tips and tricks. So I've only recently discovered Demosonia nasty little buggers, so lucky I didn't get one of those. Also, opinions on the parrot cichlid. I've wanted one for years, but the people at Watercolors have made me second guess that choice.
Oh no,
For interest's sake, my tank
it's getting worse.
For interest's sake, my tank currently has, probably not pure by any means because they're from my local pet shop, Elongatus, Impanga, Fire Red Peacock, Electric Yellow, Venustus, Eureka Red, Electric Blue, Rusty, Yellow Sulosi, Blue Peacock, which I assume is just a random blue one with no name. Thanks for the banter. Oh, sorry, loving the banter. Thanks, Laura.
A few things to unpack there.
Yeah. And just because they're from your local pet shop does not mean they're bad fish. Old man shaking.
They might be. They might be good. They might be bad. The elongatus will probably be shit because the ones that are coming through are rubbish at the moment. So that's all right. But that's okay. The statement that Demosonia assholes is true and not true. They're definitely assholes if they're kept incorrectly. So yeah, they will be every time, 100%. If you keep too few of them in too small a tank, or keep them with weak fish, they're going to kill them. That's just what it is, and they're going to kill each other. So yeah, you do have to be. They really should be Mambuna only. Her stocking list also was a little bit funky. It'll depend on her tank size. The problem with stocking is it's really hard to advise anyone because it's dependent on tank size and luck, and sometimes even the temperaments of the fish. As a general rule,
people forget that they're like fish. The fish have the personalities as well. So like try and think of it like humans, and some are fine, some are assholes. Like got three of us, two of us are fine, and one's an asshole.
You work out who's who in the zoo.
Yeah, but yeah, just because a page says you shouldn't have this fish and this fish that they'll fight doesn't mean that will necessarily happen.
And it does depend on the individual fish, the size of your tank, how you lay it out, all that sort of stuff. I mean, as a general rule, we say don't keep Mambuna with peacocks, and that's a general sort of rule. But it can work. I mean, some of the Mambuna are softer, like Rusties and Yellows are pretty soft, so I usually recommend keeping them together if you've got a big enough tank. But Yellows can get bigger and can get a bit dominant as well, but they're still a lot softer. So yeah, and often what I advise to do is not what I would do because I have to err on the side of caution because otherwise people's tanks sort of implode, So yeah, the first question will be how big is your tank and what sort of numbers have you got of all those fish? Because numbers do help as well.
That's a good point.
Also, Branton Lightcap, loving the name. He's our superhero. I think that's amazing. I wonder if his name, like Lightcap, is one of those names that, like in the 1800s or whatever, his ancestors used to light something on fire, like a lantern or something on the street or something, and that's why he's named that.
You are out the gate today.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Literally 1 second talking about.
I love that name.
Now he's on to the.
I love that name. I love that name. It's so cool. I wish I was called Brandon Lightcap. That'd be amazing.
Well, just change your name, then, you moron.
Oh, I could. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you should do it.
So, Laura, if you've got any more questions, you can reach out to us, and we'll suitably. Also, parrotfish are 100% dumb. Don't keep them. No,
parrotfish are not 100% dumb. Parrotfish have incredible personality, and they are way more personable than what African cichlids are. They just look funky. To me, they look way too much like a human face. That's why I don't like them. But they are incredibly personable, and they are full-on water pets and have incredible personalities.
They just munted. I just hate them.
Yeah, well, you're munted, and we don't hate you, so why are you being so mean?
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
I thought so too.
I think out of that whole list, definitely the parrot is the cannot, do not hard and fast.
Yeah, I wouldn't be keeping them
not
together.
being an African.
The more I look around, though, the more I look around.
More in there. You go, Ryan.
I agree. The more I look around overseas, people do mix all sorts of random crazy stuff together, and it does seem to work. Even though I probably wouldn't recommend it. So yeah.
Well, your non-recommendations have gotten us into enough trouble in the last week. So
yeah, yes, if it did everything that I recommended, you would be in trouble, wouldn't we?
We'd all be boring African cichlid fish keepers.
Well, hang on. It was only about a week ago that you were messaging wanting to set up an Mbuna tank. And you were quite excited about the prospect.
I don't recall that. I just said I think. So what's our topic today?
Frontosa.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But anyway, you did say you wanted to set up an Mbuna tank and you loved them, and you managed to rattle off this massive list of African cichlids that you liked. So yeah.
It was like 3.
Anyway. Yeah, it was
maybe
a massive
4.
list.
It
Maybe
was
10.
not massive. Oh, whatever it was, 10. It was like Rusties and Snow Whites and Aurora, and that's kind of it.
And Frontosa.
And Bumblebees.
And Bumblebees and Lulu Pie.
Yeah, but Tanganyikans are totally different from
Malawi. And Ocellatus and Brevis.
Yeah, but again, Tanganyikans are totally different.
Oh, it's getting bigger, isn't it? Oh, and you've also thought about doing a trophies tank as well, haven't you?
Mm.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen.
There you go. So it's growing. It's growing.
That's what she
said. One day we'll get you. It's a shower, not a grower. You know. But have you managed to breed your flame tetras?
No, I haven't tried since either.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
It would be good to get them ticked off the list.
It would be. It would be. I haven't really been doing anything spawning wise recently.
We also have to draw the Find Matter Date competition, don't we?
We do.
Yes, we do. Do we want to do that now or towards the end?
Oh, I don't know. Sunday's Father's Day.
I'm not sure why we're asking for valuable input from Ryan today. He is clearly.
Have you taken your ADHD meds?
So I haven't taken them for years. So I ended up where I ended up. Okay. Anyway, is that all of the stuff we needed to do before we can talk about the topic? Yeah, it is, eh?
I thought if we're Frontosa today, probably spend some time talking about some Oscars.
Some New World cichlids, I guess, eh?
Yeah. Thomas.
To sign up to OnlyFans, you need credit card details. And most fish keepers won't have credit cards because they'll be maxed out on fish and filters and stuff.
Now the question is, Thomas, how does your wife know to sign up to OnlyFans? You need a credit card details.
Yeah, I think that's opened up more questions than answers.
Yeah.
And also, what is her name?
Yeah, what's the username? Is it my husband likes catfish and I'm not catfishingyou.com?
Yeah. Or freaky stuff with fish. Anyway, we're starting to go down. A dark and twisted pathway. So let's. Shall we talk about Frontosa?
I genuinely had hoped that we were going to talk about Frontosa. Like I genuinely thought we might be able to get this one through.
Well, I feel like we covered Frontosa in the New World Cichlids thing.
Well, maybe, but you're the one leading point, and you're all over the place today. So direct us, Daddy.
Well, I feel like I literally got out of bed 2 minutes before I jumped on here, and I actually did. So, yeah. Anyway, Frontosa. What if we could say one thing about Frontosa? What would we say? If you were a Frontosa, what would you say?
Well, I wouldn't say meow.
They need a massive tank.
Yeah, massive tank. What is a massive tank?
I wouldn't be looking. I'm going to contradict myself. I'm going to say, yeah, anything more than 400 liters.
What's
400 being the minimum, and then that really depends on what you're stocking with them, how many you've got, what size they're at.
What's your
because
footprint for that?
they do grow slow.
400
They do grow slow.
400 liters.
They do grow. They grow slow. So probably to start with, you want, if they're like, maybe pet shop size, which is 1 or 2 inches, probably about 5 centimeters. You probably want to start them off in a 3 or 4 foot tank, like a decent sized tank. Get some good water changes going. When they get to like maybe 8 to 10 centimeters, you probably want to get them into at least a little 5 foot tank, I guess. And then eventually they're going to want to get up at least a 6 or 8 foot tank, probably would be my thing, because they get to sort of 30, 35 centimeters long. They're big buggers. And they also get frights and smash into stuff.
Yeah, so I had one for a little while, and so he was 22 years old. They were able to trace it back. He was one of the original imported ones that came in, and every single night you'd go to turn the light off and he'd start racing from one end to the other. And so I had to really change up the skate in that tank so that he couldn't swim in a straight line and find his head against the glass at the other end.
What happened to him in the
end? He died of natural causes.
Yeah, I'd say, because it's actually a pretty cool story, because I know the guy who originally imported them.
Yep.
And they ended up in Auckland here, then they went down to Christchurch. They were quite a big deal when they first came in. They were the only ones in the country. But fry cost $180 a fish at 2 centimeters,
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a really, really cool fish. Really cool fish. And
did it get the real ugly old Frontosa look to it?
No, like his color was still really good. Had awesome fins on him. And like he just kind of knew what the deal was. You'd put a net in the tank if you were ever moving them around and stuff, and he'd just swim into the net by himself. Could put your hand in and he'd just swim up.
He knew the drama. He knew the drill. He was like, oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah, here we go again.
It's far easier if I just do what I'm told.
Yeah.
Sounds like a married man. He's a married man. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a reason why "Killing in the Name of" is one of the songs that has to play at the wedding. And that's what I'm choosing to banter around. Can they do "Killing in the Name of"? So yeah. And I found one, so that's going to be good.
Back to Frontosas. Yeah. I think, I know Matt said 400 litres. I wouldn't go any smaller than a 6 foot tank. I contemplated, I had some temporarily in a 5 foot tank and it didn't seem quite right. I think the 6 foot is where they kind of felt comfortable. Obviously, if you can go bigger than that, better, but I think 6 foot is about where you want to go. And if you can do it with a bit of height, it seems to work as well. I know they're
longer than they are. They're not long and lanky. They're quite girthy too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're quite bulky. And because they're deep water fish, giving them a decent body of water above them when they're sort of swimming around the middle lower regions, I think that extra body of water above them helps them feel comfortable, secure, and like they're in a darker region, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Would also avoid keeping them with Malawi cichlids when possible. I think they just seem to have a shit time when they're kept with Malawis. I'd probably avoid keeping them with them.
The only one I've seen them work well with in terms of Malawis is probably blue dolphins. Because the blue dolphins, they're quite a confident fish, and they're sort of an open water fish, and they're not they get big enough to not get eaten, but they're also not that aggressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they are very similar in terms of shape and stuff and color to a Frontosa, so they're not really adding a lot to the tank. But I've seen that work overseas. They get them with all sorts of cool stuff, but we can't get it. So yeah.
Yeah, I also think just because they're a cichlid, they shouldn't be kept with other cichlids per se. Yeah, I think there's a massive issue within the industry as a whole of cichlids are cichlids if we can keep them all together.
Yeah. It's one of those things like they're better off with cichlids than they are with like angelfish and neons and guppies, right?
Angelfish are cichlids.
But you know what I mean. They're bigger off with in a big tank with more robust cichlids than they are in a community tank. But it's still not really the best place for them. You know. So often I find people that get a single male and stick it in the tank like behind me, and the thing looks like crap, and they're like, "Oh, what do I do? Yeah, I shouldn't have done it." And I'm like, "Well, you're kind of stuffed now because it's just going to go into the same home with someone else anyways. So you're not gonna sell a single male into someone who's just got a colony because they've probably got enough males, and they're probably trying to get rid of their males, and that's probably who you bought it off. So it does become a problem if we to house the bloody things. So.
Yeah, I definitely think they'd be up there as far as neglected cichlids go.
Yeah, of course.
They really seem to thrive when they are kept in proper big tanks that are designed predominantly for them, as opposed to mixed Malawi or mixed tanks. That's when they seem to, look average, look dark, have their fins ripped to pieces and stuff like that, and not be allowed to majestically glide from one end of an aquarium to the other sort of scenario. They're almost like they're always on high alert that there's too much going on for them. It's not quite. It's almost like they're a grumpy old man that just wants to be in their own space by themselves the whole time.
They're right.
They look like you've gone and caught some kid from Africa that's used to running around in the plains and stuck them in a classroom, in the corner of a classroom, and tried to make them learn or something. They just look terrified. They look like, what the hell is going on around me? Everything is happening so fast, and I can't do anything.
Really, really worried about where you were taking that one.
I was trying to find an analogy, a scared kid analogy.
And so you chose an African child.
Or you could do the same. You could do the same with a European child. You could take a European child and stick them in the middle of Africa, and then see how they react. They'd be just as terrified. A lion's trying to eat them or something, and
How do we roll food wise for them?
One thing, so I see a lot of people feeding them predominantly bloodworms, shrimp, and like high meat diets. And I really think that that's not good for them. See a lot of them end up getting bloated. And it's just... Sorry,
carry on. The prawns are full of that thiramine or some shit, aren't they? They're supposed to be not that good for fish, right? They are predators, though. They are deep water predators. That's what they do. They're deep water ambush nocturnal predators. We know when the other fish wake up before the other fish and go around and eat them all, basically. That's what they do. So they've got very good eyesight, and they like to be in the dark, and they just cruise around and eat everything. So, yeah.
I love that you say cruise around, because they really do just cruise. Like a big dominant male will literally lead a herd, like they're leading a herd of cows, just from one end of the tank to the other. Man, they're cool. That's all I've got.
And the fins and the color and stuff is just amazing, eh? They're cool. Hard to actually, I found it actually hard to do them justice in an aquarium. I don't see many people do it well, unfortunately. Obviously, the lighting's usually too strong. The tank mates are the tank's too small. The tank mates are not suitable. it can be hard to get them looking really, really good, you know.
So if you want to see a really cool Frontosa tank, the one that Frank did before he moved to New Zealand, which is on YouTube, is ridiculously cool.
He actually showed that at the aquarium meeting, and it is a pretty cool tank. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's actually what inspired me on my love of Frontosas. Like, that was one of the first things I came across when it comes to Frontosas, and I just absolutely fell in love with them from that point onwards.
Yeah, I love that tank. It's a pretty cool tank. It's planted too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Just with Java fern and Java moss mainly, but it's had a lot of like a 3D wall on it or something, and it had a lot of comps and a lot of altos and Julies and that sort of stuff breeding in all the little rocky outcrops and all the flower plants and stuff. It was really cool. So definitely look it up.
Yeah, very cool tank.
We should find a link to it and put it on our group. Actually, that'll be good.
That seems way too advanced for us.
Yeah, we couldn't even find meta dates, so how can we do that?
Did you have any people interested in going on a date with you, Matt, or not?
From our competition, no.
All right.
Oh, he's got some other people interested though, hey?
Woo!
It's not what I said.
I guess he does groom young strippers, so that's probably one thing, isn't it?
Wait,
I did notice.
What did you just say?
I did notice that one of the people that follow the Facebook page is someone you are potentially dating. And I always make sure I invite her to all the streams so she can keep tabs of what's going on with you in your fishy life.
I'd love to know who that person is, because I don't know who they are.
Oh, you know exactly who it is. We've had this conversation. You know who it is.
And you're doing the thing that we said that we would not do.
What was that?
Talk about the person, but anyway. Helen did say she was keen for a toy boy, you know, so that's also an option for you there if you needed an outlet, creative outlet.
I think Helen was pretty firm on her stance, and it wasn't that she was keen on a toy boy.
That's not what I put down. But anyway, maybe we should talk about Frontosa. Do we think that Frontosa should be on Trade Me being sold for like $15, and should they be in every single aquarium shop in the country?
No.
Probably not, no.
Do we think that Frontosa is one of those fish that we should have a license for? Or there should be some sort of checks before people own it?
I think there should be checks. But in saying that, and coming to the defense of people who are selling them, people will tell you what you want to hear. And, you know, you could say, do you have a big enough tank? Yes. Or do you know that these need to go in a 500-litre tank? Yes.
I've seen so many 1,000-litre 3-foot tanks in this hobby. People will tell me, "Oh, I've got this massive tank," and they go on the wall and they walk down the other side. It's about this long, and then you show up and it's literally like 90 centimeters long. And I'm like, "Oh, that's too small, man. What you told me it was this long?" "Oh yeah, it is. Look. It's like 180 liters or something." You're like, "Yeah, you missed the bar there."
I think even stores, I've seen a lot who have them up to say 10 centimeters and they're in a 90-litre tank. Probably doesn't set the best example to start off with.
The hard part with stores is often it is a temporary home for them, eh? So they are in a smaller tank, but that does set the example, and like you say. And the same, you see all the arowanas there, the little babies, and they're in like a little tiny tank. And you, it's okay at the shop. I can put in a little tiny tank, and then I'll get a bigger tank as it grows, and then it never happens. So the big tank's actually a big commitment. Hey, I see a lot of people getting out of the hobby because they don't have space for it in their house. Like literally, that seems to be probably, after it being too hard, is probably the second most common reason people get out of it is space. Physical space.
Yeah, fish tanks take up a lot of space.
I always get friendly banter about how much space my aquariums take up in the house and how much better we could utilise that space in the kitchen.
Friendly banter.
But to which my answer is, if you don't want it there, you can find somewhere else for it, and you can move it and not kill my fish. Needless to say, it's still there.
Do you have Frontosa currently, Ryan?
No, I don't have any tanks suitable for them. So,
do you have Frontosa currently, Matt?
Yes, I have Black Widows.
Cool. So that makes Ryan the loser. So what other varieties of species?
that was good. But am I a loser? Am I a loser for not keeping them because I can't house them? I have been offered quite a few of them over the years, and I did remotely consider putting them in my 1200 by 750 footprint tanks, but I just don't think they're long enough, so it just hasn't happened.
They're not very deep either, those ones, eh?
400, so not very deep, but yeah, they'll be borderline. I don't think they'll be big enough, so it's all right. I haven't got them.
But it does make you the loser because you could be cool like the rest of us and actually put some effort into creating a home for them.
Yeah. So what species do we have here? We've got Burundi, and then the reds and the black widows are just line breds off the Burundi, correct?
Mm-hmm. Line breds or hybrids or whatever they are. But yep.
Are the red ones actually red, or are they more of a weird crimson color?
Just a weird color. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, it's not red. Brownie red, maroon. Let's go with maroon.
Maroon. So they're a Queensland
maroon.
I need them. Yeah. What other species or catch points do we have here then? Icola?
I haven't actually. Have you seen a fully grown red? I don't think I've seen a fully grown red, so I don't really know what they look like personally. I haven't personally seen one. I've seen them on the internet, but I haven't personally seen one.
I think the largest I've seen is about 10 centimeters, not fully grown.
And I guess we should talk about, like, you're talking about different varieties, which is interesting. So you're saying these, so they are all through Lake Tanganyika, and they're all slightly different varieties in terms of their barring and the mask on their face, right? So there's some color that goes through or around their eye. Some varieties have one like a Zorro mask, so it's almost like a V. Looks like a Zorro mask, and it doesn't go down through the eye; it just stops at the eye. Some have a line through the eye. Some have a big, massive, stripe through the eye. All sorts of things, and that's how you sort of define the various varieties. There's also lots of hybrids. Some varieties throw 7 bars out, and they're a hybrid variety with it's got the Kagoma. I think they are bred into them, so you might get 7 bars on one side, 6 on the other. So it can be hard to find quality ones as well. But there are... Sorry, Carol.
Icola is here, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And so what is the difference between the Icola and the Burundi?
I'd have to Google it.
Are these, like, if you were to see, say, 2 or 3 tanks of Frontosa, are the differences glaringly obvious?
No. They're not glaringly obvious.
You've really got to be a trained eye. So it's not like the difference between a Tropheus Dubisoi to a Tropheus Icola, which is very clearly color marking sort of scenario.
They're all very similar. They're all very similar. The odds of you running into an Icola or anything like that is very slim because they are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
So, like, the people you're not just going to find them randomly at a fish shop being sold as Frontosa, probably. Odds are you're probably
I think the main difference with the Icolas is the blue head or blue hump at the front rather than a stripe.
Yeah. I think they've got a different mask too, don't they?
I'm not sure. I'm asking you. Okay. You are the be-all and end-all of African cichlid knowledge in New Zealand, and you need to know everything about Frontosa as well. Despite the fact you're not people.
I know we've got them in Pimbui because I know a few people that have got them.
Yeah.
I know we've got the
They're a lot
Alcola.
bluer, aren't they?
Yes, they are bluer, and their mask is different as well. Yeah, and I know we've got all sorts. Brandy, we've got lots of, obviously, which is what we've said. Yeah, Alcola, Pimbui, MOBA. The Zaire Blues, they're the same as the Alcola, aren't they? Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Different catch point, I believe.
Yeah, one of the books back there, I think, or a book that I've seen or an image on the internet, it's got like an image of Tanganyika, and it's got the different catch points.
All the masks. That's what I was trying to pull up.
Yeah,
on my phone, but it's not loaded.
Quite a cool image. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's in one of the books I've got back there or something that I found, but it sort of shows the different catch points, the different variants, which I think is quite cool.
That is cool, yeah.
MOBAs do have a different mask to the Icolas.
I've got the Zorro mask, The Zorro masks, the Zaires, and the MOBA, I think.
Yep.
And the same thing.
But the ones that have come in, because they've only recently started coming in the MOBAs. I say recently, in the last 12 months. So I think we're still yet to see if they are, in fact, MOBAs or not. They're saying that they're wild caught, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't personally know that. I haven't personally seen those fish, so I can't really comment. But I'm dubious about if they are real MOBAs or not. So
yeah,
what do we got? We've got Burundi. They've got a full mask right through. Then they've got Congo. Then you've got Kagoma. Then you've got Kagoma's got the 7 stripes. The Zaires have the Zorro mask. In the Congos and the Icola, the Icola have a stripe, but they have a mask. They have the like the Zorro mask as well, so they have almost a whole black head, black hump, more so than the Burundi. So yeah, they're all just different. There's a cool map that you can get. There's all different varieties. It'll be a very specialised thing to try and tell one sort of Frontosa over another, though. And I don't know if there've been an awful lot of people in the country that could do it or say that they've seen them all in real life. So yeah, it'll be a tricky thing. I definitely would be very wary of going out and spending $200-300 a fish on something without knowing exactly what I was getting.
I think the MOBAs are $400 with most people at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a decent amount to outlay.
That's a couple of dollars.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, they'll tell you all sorts of things, but without knowing for sure where they come from, it's hard to know. So yeah, have a look around. They're cool fish. They're definitely worth keeping if you can commit to a tank. Also, I would be wary of where you put the tank too, right? Because they get frights very easily. So if you had young kids and they were racing around the lounge and smashing into everything, it's probably not the place to put a Frontosa tank because they're just going to get terrified all the time and smash into stuff. I also don't think that they're suitable for a shop frontage. Like if you got a shop, I don't think they're suitable to put in a shop. And the fish rooms where you can sort of sneak up to them and just appear in front of the tank, they don't like that either. They like to see people coming and going, so they can sort of not get scared and zip and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you're trying to replicate as dark as possible, as quiet as possible. Yeah,
exactly.
Best shot with them, to be totally fair.
Yeah, and I've seen a bunch of wild caught legit Frontosa in New Zealand. I just don't know what happened to them. I should probably send him a message and see if he's still got them. They were very cool, and they were out of Germany and wild caught and proper ones. But yeah. What else are we saying? Are we going to do the rant? Are we going to do the draw now, or do we guys want to talk about Frontosa some more?
I'm quite happy that we actually spoke about Frontosas and we didn't talk about American cichlids.
And we spent 10 minutes on the
topic. And Booners.
I think this will probably be one of our worst topics because we actually did what we said we were going to do.
I think this has been one of our worst episodes because you came in drunk and have only just begun sobering up.
Yeah, the alcohol's starting to thin in my body. Hang on, I'll go and rectify that.
Yeah. So we're going to do our draw. Thank you, everybody.
Sorry. Yeah, Carol, go. Go do the draw.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for entering.
You go.
Thank you, everyone, for entering. And it is, I think we still need to work on finding Matt a date. So let's just keep that as a goal.
Now, because some people might not know, but we wave before every podcast, and Ryan always objects to waving. So Ryan, I think, as his punishment, can do a drum roll for us. Once he starts the drum roll, I will click to spin the wheel.
How do I do a drum roll? I don't have any drums.
On your table.
Oh, on my chair?
Yeah, there we go. Keep going.
Work out around.
I feel like animal off the what is it called?
And the winner is Chris Cowie.
Congratulations,
Chris.
Chris.
Facebook comment.
Chris Cowie for a where? We don't know yet.
It was
From
a
New
Facebook
Zealand.
comment.
Was it?
So flick us a message. We won't message you. If people message you saying that you've won, you've been scammed. Flick us a message and we will organise getting a voucher to you.
That's it.
Chris is from New Zealand. Chris is from New Zealand, which makes it helpful.
Oh, yeah, because we were going to do it international, and then we were going to figure out how that actually worked. We don't really know how that would work, but we're going to try and figure it out.
Surely you'd just pay for it with that OnlyFans account. Just transfer into Bitcoin.
Transfer it in Bitcoin.
I'm not used. Wouldn't waste my Bitcoin on that. Come on, guys. Bitcoin's the future.
But before we finish off for the day, can we have a list or a run through of what Tom has signed you up to so far?
I want to take notes.
I've lost track actually.
We've got OnlyFans, political party.
Yeah, I'm the Maori. I've been a volunteer for the Maori political party. I've got Mick Baldy, the Sphinx cat, for pet insurance. An Aramax courier franchisee. That's actually coming up in a week, the information evening for that. They keep ringing me and emailing me and reminding me. Men's health clinic for erectile dysfunction. The hair loss clinic for hair loss. Is that about it?
That's not a bad haul, Tom. Well done. Or if it isn't Tom, who we actually think it is Tom, whoever is signing Ryan up to these random things, it is brilliant. It is making my week at least.
The erectile dysfunction clinic was the best one actually because they just kept ringing, and then when I told them they were being pranked, they were just like, yeah, okay, yeah, and they just did not believe me, and they sent me a text straight afterwards saying how they can still help and how they're discreet and it's a major issue and all this stuff. So it was quite funny. So for all those out there, there is a cure, and one of our show sponsors can hook you up.
So if you haven't yet, please give the stream a thumbs up and a like and a share and all that kind of boring stuff.
And we've got 3 idiots. Oh, what's the email address again? Podcast
3idiots@gmail.com. If you have any more questions you'd like to know, don't use that email to sign Ryan up to it because I'm the one that pays attention to it, and that'll annoy me.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny. Do not use our business email to sign Ryan up to stuff.
How did they get your details in the first place?
Well, I've got multiple companies, and I'm on heaps of websites, so my details are everywhere.
including
Usually.
OnlyFans and erectile dysfunction companies and shaven cat issue problems.
Are you going to end up with a photo on the Baldy Party's website with you being like, "I'm a sponsor"?
It'd be good to get someone with 0% Maori and the whitest person you could ever imagine on the Maori part.
Just with the sun glowing off the top of your head.
Yeah. Kia ora, bro. Cha.
That's probably our cue to.
Yeah.
What's our topic next week?
Next week's topic, we're going to be talking about niche fish, which is a follow-up. So I'm not quite sure how we'll follow up on that. Maybe some homework for us to do this week.
Was there a reason why we were following it up? Was someone requested or something? Or
you would have to ask the other cam, because it just on our list of things it had niche fish follow-up. So maybe we need to watch it. Everybody else in the stream might need to watch one of our previous streams, the niche fish one, and work out what we're going to be talking about. But yeah. Maybe
Frontosa probably a niche fish. Maybe we talk about them next week. Them something new.
We can do that. Talk about
something new.
Frontosa.
We'll just change the podcast to the Frontosa podcast.
Yeah, cool. Is that all we've got?
Well, thanks, guys. And it's exciting that someone won the competition. Well, I guess someone was always going to win the competition, even if only one person entered the competition. I guess it's always going to happen, wasn't it?
Are we doing that again or not?
And that is going to be for a $60 voucher to your hopefully local aquarium shop, not your big chain store, but we'll buy whatever you want because it's your choice. And then if you don't choose the right thing, we'll probably publicly
shame you. For shame. Are we running that competition again, or are we doing that as a one-off for that week only?
We'll run that again at some stage, or some sort of similar competition at some stage, but not right now, I guess.
Okay. You're the boss. I just work here.
Considering the food that someone won still sitting in my drawer over there, then for another competition that we ran, I probably should send it. But yeah.
Our superhero says we should do it again.
Yeah, but he'll use his superhero powers to manipulate the result. So that's not going to be fair. They use mind control or something on us. Oh, no. Stefan's late. Hopefully you can make it next time. Or listen to it. All right, cool. See you guys next week.
Cheers.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.